everyone, I'm Megan Sullivan and welcome to this impressions video for the new Triangle Strategy demo. This is actually the second video I've done for this turn-based JRPG. If you guys recall, last year I reviewed an earlier demo of the game, which you can check out here. So now I'm going to tell you everything I love about this new demo, which covers the first 3 chapters of the game and is about 3 to 4 hours long, as well as a couple of things that have me a bit concerned. The first thing I love about the demo, of course, is the graphics. HD 2D is the new hotness, and Triangle Strategy sprites and environments look really nice. I'm digging the scale of the buildings in this game, the light and shadow effects look great, and I love how dynamic the world is. The only minor flaw I could find graphics-wise was that once or twice I swear the entire screen kind of wavered or looked warped, but hopefully that gets patched. At any rate, overall, I love the visuals and also the lush soundtrack, which is appropriately dramatic and subdued by turns. But what I'm not crazy about is the voice acting.
Out with it, Benedict! I heard you were beset by brigands. Is the young lord safe?
You guys, it's really hit or miss so far, and I don't understand what's going on with that. Even the Japanese acting seems a bit cliché and uninspired. And to be fair, it may not be the actor's fault. The characters are kind of bland so far. Nothing about them really stands out. Luckily, their circumstances are much more interesting. Triangle Strategy's story is driven by some pretty complex but fascinating geopolitics involving 3 nations once at war over vital commodities like iron and salt, but are now working together on a joint mining operation in the hopes of strengthening their ties and putting the past behind them. But right at the start of the demo, you can sense there's still a lot of distrust and resentment simmering between all 3 nations. As Saranoa, the son of a powerful duke, you'll spend the majority of your time in the demo navigating the continent of Norzelia's tricky Game of Thrones-esque politics, which involves a lot of talking, listening, and gathering information via the game's exploration mode and doing optional side quests that give you more background story. There's certainly a lot of information to keep track of, which is why I appreciate that during every conversation, you can bring up the speaker's character portrait and review who they are, who they're aligned with, and how they're related to other people in the game. The menu system, where a lot of this information is stored, is also helpful because it's clean and easy to navigate. Now, all this talking and listening and gathering information may strike some players as tedious, but I love it, because it's all part of the strategy in Triangle Strategy. What you do off the battlefield is just as important as what you do on the battlefield. And that's because which characters join your party, who leaves your party, and how the story plays out are all based on major decisions you make throughout the course of the game, which in turn are influenced by the answers you give people when asked a crucial question. These answers are tied to one of 3 principles: liberty, morality, and utility. And I find it fascinating that I was never 100% sure where I stood on any given issue, or how my comrades would feel about my opinions on various matters, because the game doesn't tell you which answer aligns with which principle. It only hints at it, which meant I had to think very carefully about each response if I wanted to strengthen my convictions in a way that aligned with my basic principles. And these convictions really came into play when at the end of the demo, I was asked to make an important decision about whether my party traveled to the nation of Esfrost or the nation of Hyzent on a diplomatic mission. This decision would change the entire trajectory of the story, but what amazes me about Triangle Strategy, and might be its most intriguing feature, is that I wasn't the only one who got a say in the matter. Before any major decision, allies will take a vote by using a magical item known as the Scales of Conviction, which meant even if I wanted to go one way, my own party members could override me with a majority vote in the opposite direction. This made for some exciting, or maybe I should say nail-biting moments as I attempted to change hearts and minds before the voting process began. But whether I succeeded or not was based on the strength of my convictions reflected in my answers to earlier questions. At least I think that's how it works. I admit it wasn't always clear to me. Now, luckily, because I had put in the work of gathering as much information as I could, I managed to unlock extra dialogue options that helped me convince my allies to first go to Hyzent, and then in a separate save file, go to Isfrost, demonstrating that it pays to gather as much intel about current events as possible. Although I'm happy to report that no matter which way your party votes, both story scenarios are interesting and reward you with two distinct types of allies who are equally useful on the battlefield. Speaking of battles, I love the combat in Triangle Strategy so far. Like Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics, it consists of a turn-based grid system, but this system not only incorporates things like terrain, general unit placement, unit order, which conveniently you can see at the bottom of the screen, and the use of unique character abilities to exploit enemy weaknesses. It goes deeper by allowing you to combine seemingly disparate actions for maximum effect, like stringing elemental attacks together by using lightning on a pedal caused by an ice spell to electrocute enemies, or using wind to spread fire. You can also put together a more powerful attack by placing allies on higher elevation, which gives them a strength advantage, and using a backstab maneuver, which guarantees a critical hit, to make short work of the enemy. You can even catch opponents in a pincer so your comrades can perform back-to-back blows, which can be increased if one of those comrades is, say, Anna, whose unique character aptitude allows her to attack twice in a row. There's just so many different strategic options available, and I appreciate that whenever I pulled off a clever combat maneuver, I was rewarded with kudos, a special kind of currency you can use to purchase rare items, and a limited set of powerful effects that can turn the tide of battle. By the way, although I didn't struggle too much on normal mode, the AI in this game seems pretty smart, so I appreciate all the other features that help me in combat, like a responsive camera that I could fully swing around to see all the available spaces in a fight, and the color-coded squares that tell me which enemy and ally units are within range of each other. And if things go south, a quick save feature allows me to start a battle over at a crucial moment or save my progress and come back later. I know none of these things are new to strategy games, but I'm glad they're there nonetheless. Now, not every battle in Triangle Strategy is won by carefully placing your troops and taking advantage of the terrain. There's a few neat things you can do to improve your team off the battlefield, and they're delightfully strategic as well. Aside from spending kudo points, whenever you're in a feature called Encampment Mode, you can also participate in mock battles to earn more experience, coin, and abilities, promote an ally's job class to increase their stats, buy health items, and visit the blacksmith to upgrade your weapons and unlock a string of weapon abilities. Since resources are precious and unlocked abilities can be learned in any order, I like that I had to think carefully about who I powered up and which weapon upgrades to prioritize before going into battle. Oh, by the way, I love how everything that involves strategy and Triangle Strategy comes in threes. Job classes have 3 levels of expertise, weapons have 3 ranks, the conviction system has 3 categories, and the story involves 3 nations. I wouldn't be surprised to see a love triangle at some point. Triangle Strategy indeed. In short, there's obviously a lot of thoughtful mechanics that went into the development of this game, and I can't wait to see all the ways in which they come into play when I transfer my save file over to the full game, which comes out this March. In the meantime, I'm glad I got the opportunity to get a head start on the story and check out most of the core features. The characters are a little bland, but the choices on and off the battlefield are anything but. And that's it for this Impressions video of the new Triangle Strategy demo. Did you like it? Hate it? Excited for the game? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later.